Take two. Hi, everyone. Good night. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Faces of Real Estate. I'm your host, Mindy Skelly, licensed real estate broker in the state of New York and Pennsylvania. And if you have any real estate questions, this is your opportunity to get them answered by real estate brokers who actually practice real estate full time, residential, commercial, rentals, you name it. Today's episode, we have a realtor friend of mine from the state of New Jersey. So if you're anywhere in the U.S., outside the U.S., and you're looking to purchase investment property, Jersey is a hot market, and right now is a great time to buy property in Jersey. So Tanya Keys of KW Red Door Realty is going to be joining us for tonight's session. And happy June, everybody. So let's give her a few minutes and a few other people a few minutes to join us. I think here she comes. Okay. So Tanya is joining in, and she is a real estate broker. Ooh, what is that? You're showing
That's my plant.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, there it is.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties. I'm a realtor and a good one, but I don't have technical skills.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh. Okay, you can see me?
Yes, I can see you. You see me, right? Looking.
I can see you now. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Pin comments. So I just pinned the comments so people know that tonight we are talking about buying real estate in New Jersey. And Tanya Keys is the owner, broker of Keys and Wiggins Red Door Realty out in Jersey City. Yes. So if you are looking to purchase a home or investment property, Jersey's a hot market right now. Right, Tanya?
Yeah. It's very hot. Everything is on fire. Multiple offers. We are doing great over here in spite of Corona, but we're doing good.
And the inventory looks great too, because I've sent her over a few buyers since Corona, and they've been getting something really quick. And it's finding like Corona has made people realize that they need to make decisions quickly as well.
Absolutely.
Because despite what people expected with the market crashing, the market hasn't crashed. The prices are stable, even still climbing, not as quickly as before, but they're still up there.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, Latoya joined. So Latoya actually hit me up yesterday. She is a friend who is looking to purchase a home in Jersey as well. So she and I used to work together before I joined in real estate. Yeah.
Hi, Latoya. How are you?
Look, I was actually trying to tell Mr. DJ Dwizzy over here that he should purchase a home in Jersey as well for investment purposes. So hopefully we'll have a few people in the New York market who can tap into the Jersey market, because the New York numbers, like what you can get in Jersey, it's like you'll save hundreds of thousands of dollars compared to what you're going to buy in New York. So let me stop talking. Tanya, introduce yourself to the people.
Once again, my name is Tanya Keys. I am the broker owner of Keys and Wiggins Red Door Realty. We're located at 492 Communicore Avenue in Jersey City. And that's Hudson County, in case people don't know that. And Hudson County is like a stone throw away from Manhattan. Our office is really centrally located between Greenville section or Bergen. We are in Bergen Lafayette, but between Greenville Lafayette and downtown Jersey City, literally like 7 to 10 minutes to the Holland Tunnel. My office serves around, well, we have like 5 counties between Hudson, Essex, Union, Middlesex, Bergen, and did I miss any? And I said Essex County and Passaic counties.
Yeah.
So we do, in addition to real estate sales and rentals, we also do property management. We've been there for about 2 years now, going on 2 years. And like I said, we are I'm broker owner, and my partner, Carmen Wiggins, she's bilingual, so we do serve the bilingual community as well.
Okay. So how did you get into real estate, Tanya? Because I met you when we were at KW, which neither one of us at right now. We opened up our offices
Right.
at the same time, but
We
they
met in
held my back then.
California, right? We met in
Yeah, we
California.
met in California at a convention. Everybody knows I like to travel, and if I could do some trainings and make it count as a vacation, I'm all for
Right.
it.
And it's so funny how we met because both of us was lost trying to get, remember? Trying to
The
get
place was
somewhere.
so big, and it was like, okay, we're going to the same place. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So how I got into real estate, it's sort of kind of a long story, but not. Originally, I was in home care. I owned a home health care service, and I did that for about 12, 13 years. And my partner at the time, her and I started the company from scratch. We didn't get a franchise. We just started the company. And my partner passed away. But before she passed away, she said, she promised me, she goes, promise me you'll get into real estate, because her and I used to do some investments on the side, buying and selling. And I said, okay. And then I had a baby. So in 2004-05, I went to, as I still had the business, I went to real estate school, and I passed the test, and I just decided to stay home with the baby. But because I had the other business also. So one year, one day, I decided I want to be a realtor now. And I tried to place my license, and it was like, yeah, no, you got to go back to school. I was like, why? 1 year, one day. Because you have up until 1 year to take the test and to, put your license somewhere. And I did. I waited afterwards. So I was kind of rebellious. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do this now.
That's kind of how I feel right now about this whole Jersey license situation, because I was supposed to get my license in Jersey, and that week that they shut us down in New York, like the testing centers, I was scheduled for my next exam that week.
Wow.
And so for the last 2 months, I haven't been able to take the exam. So I actually was thinking today, like, I should email the commissioner and ask him, like, so can I get a 2-month extension because of Corona?
Oh. Is it 1 year now? Is it going to be 1 year?
Yeah, May made 1 year from when I took the first course. Yeah, so yeah, they do give you the 1 year to take it. Unfortunately, New York doesn't have reciprocity, so you got to take all the classes and stuff. For anyone who's thinking about becoming a realtor in the Jersey area, New York has reciprocity with 9 other states, and Jersey is not one of them. So you have to take separate classes and the exam for both national and state level for Jersey.
Right. So my sound just went out for some reason.
I can hear you.
Just one moment. Let me see something here. Let me try to get it back.
I can hear you. I'm not sure what's going on.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. I can't believe this.
Yeah. So you guys, in the meantime, if you have any questions specific to buying a home in the Jersey market, do post your comments.
Okay. For some reason, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I can't hear you for some reason, but we could try to make this work. I'm turning up my volume. Let me just try to turn up my media volume. Oh, geez, this is crazy.
So, in the meantime, right, I'll catch you up to speed. So, New York and Jersey process is a little bit different. When it comes to the mortgage part of buying a property, that part is pretty much the same. The bank operates the same for most of the states.
Can you? I can hear you. Okay, good. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So I started doing a segue while you were gone, explaining to them, like, the process for purchasing a home in Jersey is a little bit different from state to state. The part that is the same is the mortgage process. So you get your pre-approval, you get your contracts to the bank, they process it. It's the same paperwork process. But in terms of how you go about purchasing it with a realtor, that's where it kind of changes up. So in New York, what we do is we find a house, we make an offer, we do an inspection, we do contracts, then we do the mortgage. And you guys in Jersey, you do it a little bit different.
Yes. So what we do, once you get your pre-approval, we take you out, the realtors take you out to see the house. Once you have selected the house, right? So in New Jersey, you can have the transaction with or without an attorney. Without an
Oh, you
attorney,
can
we
actually have it
highly,
without an attorney in Jersey?
you can have a title company close for you. The only problem
Oh, the
is,
closing part of it. Okay.
right, you see, the only problem, there is no legal, kind of coverage for you, nothing to protect you. Because as a realtor, we can't handle any legal
Practice
issues.
law.
Anything comes up legal, we can't handle. And by the way, the title company can't. So we highly suggest an attorney. Some people choose to do with, and some people do without. I highly advise all my clients to have attorney representation. So what happens once we have found the home for you, or you found that home, and we make the offer, the agents are the ones, or the realtors are the one that actually negotiate for you. Once the negotiating has, we decided on a price, and the seller has accepted your price, and both parties have signed, then it goes to the attorney. And we call it attorney review process. And that process typically is 3 days. So at this point, the milestone, you as the buyer has the right to go, well, you know what? I decide I want to continue to look. This isn't the house for me. And you can actually rescind your offer without any legal ramifications,
During the
right?
attorney review
During
process.
the attorney review process, right? So after the attorney review process has concluded, which I said it can take from 3 days, could be 5, but typically it's 3 days. After that process, after the attorney review has concluded, then you are officially under contract. So you can't really get out unless you're going to have some legal ramifications then. So after the attorney review, then you get your home inspection, typically anywhere from, I guess, 5 to 10, 14 days, depending on what the contract says. You get your home inspection, and this is the home inspection contingency portion of the transaction. And if you can't come to terms at this point, during this process, again, you can walk away. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, so you get your home inspector, you pay for your home inspector to come out. They will look at the house from top to bottom. Typically, it's a 2 to 4 hour process, depending on how large the home is. And once they give a report, and that report goes back to the attorney and you as the buyer. And then once they look at it and say, well, this is, this, and it could be a crack in the foundation, it could be just a hole in the wall. Either the terms can be that the seller will repair any issues that come up, or the seller may give a credit for you to repair on your own. Or if you don't come to terms on this, you can't come to an accord, then you can terminate the contract. Not you, the attorney will terminate the contract. And that's without any legal ramifications at that point. So I guess that's the difference, because you guys do the inspection prior, right, to the
Mm-hmm.
attorney?
Yeah, so we do
Yeah.
our inspection, and then
Hmm.
once the inspection is completed, then they meet with the attorney to sign the contracts. Well,
Okay.
now in COVID, there's no meeting with the attorney. You're going over your terms over the phone. They'll email you a
Oh,
copy, and yeah. So,
wow.
I mean, there's some attorneys that are willing to still meet with clients, but for the sake and time of just moving things along, because we can do e-signature now, we just
Right.
they go over the contracts with the client over the phone, and then they just e-sign it, send it back.
So my question to you, you just said they just now doing these signatures? Because we've been
Yeah,
doing these signatures for
I
a
know.
long while now.
In Pennsylvania, we do e-signatures also
Right.
on all of our documents, because we don't use attorneys at all in Pennsylvania. Um,
Okay.
yeah, literally, like your offer and your contract are the same documents, and every single part of the process that possibly, like, they've thought of everything that you might
Okay.
need an addendum for. So if there's an issue that comes up on the inspection, there's a inspection addendum, so you can make your request on that form, and then there's an option for the seller to accept it, modify it, cancel the contract there.
Okay.
And then even at closing, like we send the contracts to the bank, the title company does the closing, and they have us as agents explain what's on the Alta form.
Wow.
Yeah, let me tell you, I've been looking at this like,
No, we don't do that. The
yeah,
attorney does, you know.
it's quite an interesting position to be in as a PA
Right.
agent when you're accustomed to things in New York. Like, I would not be explaining this, but the Alta form is really the same thing as what they would have seen on their CD. It's
Right.
just the final HUD one for what the adjustments that the title company would have did. So it's just a review of like, okay, this is what you're signing, this is what it is, here's where your credits and all that. So by the time we get to the closing, they would have seen all the documents anywhere. So they're prepared ahead of time.
Well, in New Jersey, what happens that alter or that closing disclosure goes out to the buyer, but about 3 days
Yeah, I think that's standard
before.
everywhere.
Right, but
That
that
seems standard.
that's explained by the loan officer here.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So in Pennsylvania, like they would have gotten that already prior to closing. So at that point, it's just like I'm just reminding you what you're signing, because
Okay.
it's like, okay, you're sign here. This is what's on this page. Sign here. That's what's on this page.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but they would have
Yeah.
already seen it like before they would have met with me for closing. So there's generally no issues. In New
Right.
York, there's always some craziness going on at the closing. There's like some last minute adjustment, some credit for
Right.
like oil tank or whatever, and then the attorneys do like those little things at the closing. So I don't imagine the way New York operates, unless it was like a very clean deal, that
Okay.
it would be possible for agents to even ever be part of the closing. So now with COVID, they don't even want us at the closing because we serve no purpose at the closing. We're
Mm.
just there for emotional support.
I like to attend all my closings with my clients because,
You guys get to attend closings now?
yeah, yeah, we're doing closings.
That's
And
dope.
they make it a way we can come, social distancing,
Yeah.
of course.
They don't give
But
a
I
that. They're
like to
like, you
attend
not needed
because,
there. Don't go.
I'm sorry.
I said there in New York, the social distancing rule doesn't apply to us. They're like, you're not needed. Don't go.
Oh, wow. I like to go because I'm with my client from the beginning to the end. Yeah, and I
Exactly.
sit down at closing. 9 times out of 10, we do our final walkthrough on the day of closing, a few
Same.
hours before. Okay. So with that, I'm just going with them. And I know a couple of times I'm so happy that I was there because the numbers were wrong, and one client had to go to the bank. There actually was a purchasing. He used to live in New York, so he didn't know where the banks were. He didn't know, certain things. So I actually took him and his family to the bank or show them where this is. So I like to go because you never know what
Mm-hmm.
can come up at these closings. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but I sat in a closing one time for like 3 hours. Yeah.
When I
Then,
bought my first house, my closing was like 5 hours long, and
oh,
yeah, it was 5 hours long because for 4 hours the seller was on his way, 30 minutes away.
wow.
But but in terms of
Wow.
clients, I think the longest my closings have ever been is probably like 3-4 hours as well.
Yeah.
And that was really like they were waiting on the wire transfer. Like the paperwork signing probably took like maybe an hour and a half, and then the rest was just waiting on the funding to come. But in New York, things I've seen happen is like, let's say you do the final walkthrough and something is not there. Most people can't explain what an issue is. And like,
Right.
because I go on the inspection, I go on the appraisal, and I do the final walkthrough, I know the differences between when something is done and when something is not done. So most of the attorneys I work with, they know that they can just ask me a question about what happened and I'll be able to inform them. And then they can make whatever adjustments or escrow that they need to do.
Right. Yeah. I have gone to walkthroughs where I just taken a picture and I'll send it to the attorney so they'll know what to expect when we get there.
Yeah,
If this
that
is
too.
going on, the debris, the garbage is still there, check that, and I'll send that there. Um, so it sounds like other than the beginning of the process, right? When
Contract to
you
close is the
initially
same.
Yeah, it pretty much closes the same.
Yeah.
And of course, you don't take anyone out until you get pre-approved. I don't take anyone out. I'm very hands-on in that way. I want to make sure that they're qualified and we're just not running around just to be running around. I actually had a client the other day that said to me, everybody told me to go find the house first and then get pre-approved. I said, yeah,
Yeah.
no.
No.
Especially in the age of COVID where people don't even want you in their houses, unless for no good reason. So we need to know. And then what is our compass? What do we go by? She says, well, I know that I'm qualified for up to 650. I was like, okay, but let's try to be sure of that though, because
Yeah.
you can go and not just knowing where to go is just the other thing that gives you leverage, because if you go out and you see a house, right, and it's the house you want, it's going to take you time to get pre-approved, and by the time you get pre-approved, someone else has put an offer in and it's been accepted and you lost out on the home.
And we would have wasted time as realtors that do this full time.
That's
So
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't play that. Like, oh no, like I want to know that this is done, because
Right.
when you're in this market is too competitive for you to like think like a day or two will wait for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
very surprised though at the deals that I've been negotiating lately, and it's been taking me like a couple of days to negotiate it. That they've been very patient on the seller side to like let us get through the process, and that's been tough. Like having multiple deals that you're like, this thing is taking like 3-4 days, whereas before it could have just easily taken one day because they're like take it or leave it. Now they're a little more willing to work with you to have the quality person get the house.
Well, that's what I'm seeing too. Like, so the offers that I'm putting in on, I have people coming back to me, like, I'm sorry, the other agent. So if I'm the buyer's agent, it's the listing agent saying to me, well, what type of work does this person do? Or, are they about to get laid off? How do we know? So they're trying to really vet the buyer on the other side a little more. I don't know if you're seeing that a little more,
I
but
found that for
I
the
also.
last year they've been doing that. And then what's also becoming common is the seller will probably have a loan officer. I think most times it's not even the seller's loan officer, it's the seller's agent's loan officer, and they want you to be pre-qualified through their loan officer. And not even like before, where it used to be a concern that other loan officer might take the client because they're doing everything, but it's just double checking the paperwork. So submitting like the basic the what's it called? The tax return form, the credit, the page on the credit that shows the 3 credit scores, and asking questions about like their job, employment situation.
The loan officer that I work with, he will, when they ask, so if the listing agent says to me, well, let me have them pre-approved through my loan officer, you don't have to use it. My loan officer would actually, and I've been working with him for over 10 years now, oh, actually 11. What he would do is actually get on the phone and he would call that listing agent and let them know that this is a solid person, because that's just what he does. And it's Terry Cooper, Loan Depot. I promise you, he closes my loans in 28 days. And if there's an issue, he lets me know right away before we even get any further.
Yeah.
So
And that's
what's
what I would do
happening?
most times too, is just have them like even before all this, I always said like, if it's going to make you feel more comfortable, if it's gonna make the seller feel more comfortable, I personally am okay with you speaking to my loan officer and asking them whatever questions you have to say yes to my person. And I think usually when you come from that approach, it makes them more comfortable just in general because you're open from the beginning.
You're right. And they don't know you. We don't know them if we're coming to them. So it does make it better. And I like when I'm in that type of, like today, yesterday, someone offered on one of my listings. We're out of attorney review already and under contract.
Oh, wow. That's
Like,
good.
yeah, less than 24 hours. I thought that was amazing because I was one of those agents that call, well, what does this person do? Because with because with COVID now, people are losing their jobs. And it was a medical professional that came from New York. And, of course, they're well qualified.
And I found that like not just the banks, but even landlords, like people are concerned, like the buyers that are looking at multifamilies, they're like, and oh, by the way, like I only want essential workers to be applying for my apartment, because they're thinking long term too. Like, these are the people that are going to get qualified now where they have the job security. I have some people like they're essential workers, but whatever happens, like the job might be at capacity for who they can pay in the time. Then they're trying to, I guess, cut back money. So some people are going on furlough while some people still stay active. So there's still that
Right.
apprehension there. Yeah, I had a buyer freaking out because their job told them, well, anything could happen, so just expect this. And it's like,
Wow.
don't
Who says
scare
that to,
people. Like,
who says that to someone? No.
I don't know. I mean, low key, I don't know that it's 100% true, but
Right.
but thank God,
Right.
like they're still working. So
Oh, that's good. That's
yeah.
good. Now, so your market in New York is doing what? How do you see what's going on over
Okay.
there?
Well, look, somebody just asked a regular, is this a good time to buy now? This is an excellent time to buy now. First and
Excellent.
foremost, the people that are able to buy now are, they have less competition than before this happened because so many people have lost jobs and it was such a crazy market that that competition factor was driving the prices up so high. And not that prices have dropped down, but they've definitely stabilized and people are taking their time now to actually go through their options as opposed to just jumping at the person who is giving like the highest number. Not because you give the highest number means that you're the best candidate for purchasing a house. And if you're working with agents like myself and Tanya, when we put the offer in, we usually got a nice little sell story to the agent. So here's why you should take my person's offer,
Exactly.
and you package it in a way where it looks good. And then also,
And as well as the interest rates are so low.
yeah, and the interest rates are low, so
Yeah.
that means you can actually like spend less on a monthly basis on the house.
Right.
And I find that the quality of stuff is also getting better. I would say that like people who are selling their houses, they're not like, oh, I just want to test the market. There's none of that nonsense going on because that there's been instances where I put in an offer, it get accepted, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we were just playing around. Like, what you mean just playing around? Like, we just wanted to see what happens. Don't do that to me. Please don't do that to me.
Yeah. Right. I think what happens is people don't realize what we do, as agents and what we have to go through. Because when you do something like that, like what you just did, you put an offer, that person put an offer and then rescind their offer because they were just testing it. What happens, like when we go to another agent, we go, hey, we giving them a story and saying that this person is ready to go and this is a good person. And then like, oh, she said they changed their mind.
Oh,
it's like,
I didn't mean the buyer though. I meant the home seller after they accepted my buyer's offer.
Yeah.
They were because we were wondering what was taking so long with the contract process and being able to schedule inspections. And then they decided to take their house off the market.
Okay.
Yeah. It still didn't sell because I sold the house next door to it. So I'm there like every 6 months saying hi to my buyer that bought next door. Yeah, it would have been nice to have two buyers living next to each other. Like I was already introducing them and everything.
Wow. But that can also go in the way. Right. But that also goes in the way of sellers too. I'm just testing it because again, it's almost like you telling people, hey, I got this for you. And they go, oh no, never mind. I don't have it for you. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and I know over here, sometimes the agents like kind of remember that person. She gives,
yeah, when that house comes back on the market, like I remember that also happened. I went to go show a house and I get there and it was like that has the video thing. So the owner talking to me on the intercom and he's like, I'm not anywhere near the house. I'm like, well, I know I'm a little bit early. I was just seeing if you were here. Like I was 15 minutes early. And he's like, but truth be told, I wanted to take the house off the market. He told me it's somebody going. You want to come back in an hour? I'm like, sir, I'm not coming back if you're not sure about selling your house. So either you want to sell it or not. And then he actually did take the house off the market. Maybe like 2 months later, one of the agents in my office, she's like, Mindy, something about this house. And like just the story of it like triggered me. So I was like, let me see this house. So when I saw it, I was like, this is the same house. I was like, let me tell you something. You better ask that seller's agent. Is he serious this time? Because I went to show it. And then he pulled a fast one on me. And yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's like either you're going to go or you're not going to go. I know life happens. And sometimes you might be in a hard place. But if you're just like, well, I'm thinking about it or not, you got to get all your ducks in a row, because the same way like you're looking to make a move, somebody else is looking to make a move, and that's their life. That's one thing I always tell people about real estate. Like I don't do this for shits and giggles. Like people's
That's
whole
right.
lives and real lives are affected by what happens with these real estate transactions.
That's right.
And it's not gonna stop just because like you're on the fence about something. It's like when you're ready to go, like just be open, be honest, and like make moves happen.
That's true. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, right? Don't you
Mm-hmm.
agree with that?
Yes.
Whether you're a buyer
Whether
or a
you're a
seller,
buyer or
because
seller.
right, right. I agree wholeheartedly because this is what I do full time, all day, every day. And I've been doing this for 10 years full time. I enjoy what I do and I love helping people get to the next chapter in their life. And they, my slogan is like keys to transition because I'm giving you the keys to transition to the place that you want to be. And I really so enjoy it, from the kids to the adults, the smiles on their faces when they see,
Mm-hmm.
their new home, their new life, their new chapter that they're starting. It just gives me such a great feeling, even to ride around the city and see, oh, I sold that home. I sold that home. And it's honestly, it's not about the commission. It's just about the people
Yeah.
aspect of it. And leading up to that, the people aspect, do you find it different showing in this age of Corona? Like because I know for me, when I see my clients, I'm like, hi, and I have to stop myself. I can't shake their hand. One of my clients wanted to hug me the other day. She was like, "Oh, we can't hug." I was like, "Yeah, okay." Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no,
do,
I don't think so. Because you know what it is too? So I'll probably be a little more friendly with the kids, like joke around with them,
right,
whatever. You want to hold my hand walking up down the stairs, okay, you're 2 feet tall. But
right,
with adults, not so much. I deal a lot with couples. So I just
okay.
naturally keep my physical distance away from people.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Yeah, yeah,
also a
yeah.
Virgo. We don't really
Okay, okay. I know for me, it seems so impersonal. Like, I when they originally shut us down, like back in March, I still kind of was showing a little. Like, I
mm-hmm.
had this one client that had to, this buyer, they had to leave because their house were already under contract. And I remember going in the house with them, right? And I opened the door, I let them in. So when they come out the living room, when they leave out the living room, I go in the living room, they go to the kitchen. So it almost felt like I wasn't with them when I really was with them. It just felt
Mm-hmm.
so impersonal.
Yeah.
I didn't like that too much because I like to be there explaining what I do know about the house
Yeah.
because that's the purpose of me being there, and giving them information and letting them in. And although I'm still doing that, it's just that they're all the way in the kitchen and I'm
Yeah,
right
I
here.
know what made fun of me the other day. They're like, we don't have corona. Like, you're acting like we have something. And I'm like, yeah, this is no. Just,
Yeah, I know it's a
they're
corona.
like, I'm just not in the room. It's okay.
That's it. That's the only thing that but. But so you're still doing mask and gloves when you show?
Yep.
Because I know in New
Mask and
Jersey we
gloves.
have to do one-on-one.
And what I try to do too is like go through the whole house, open every door, every closet, turn on every light, so that way they don't have to
Right,
do
me too.
anything either. That
Yeah.
alleviates just a lot of
Right.
that contamination. But people are pretty good. Again, I think also because of the type of people that we're dealing with. My
Right.
client base is mostly military people or medical
Okay.
people. So,
Mhm.
and I think, and that's the other thing why the hugs don't faze me, because when you're dealing with a bunch of military people, like you're just very direct and
Oh
straight to
yeah.
the point.
Yeah, yeah,
And my
yeah. Yeah.
personality is like that too, where it's just like I'm real
Yeah.
business. I'm straight to the point. I'll I'll throw a little joke in there, but you'll know I'm very serious. But
Right.
yeah, and then with like the nurses and them, they come in, they're like, yeah, all geared up with the purple and blue gloves. Like they're not even doing the
Yeah,
regular
yeah.
white gloves like the rest of us.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, again, it just seems a little impersonal, but we're still talking and joking, and it's like, okay, okay, like it just seems a little awkward when we're about to leave because you usually shake someone's
Yeah,
hand,
that
or
part too.
that's
It's
the
like
part. It's
elbow
like
bump,
even
fist bump.
right. So that's what we're doing, and okay, but call me if you need something or something like that. But it's just with this corona, it just seems a lot more impersonal, and that's the other reason I got into real estate, because of the personal aspect of it. And I know they're saying that we can show online with these videos and what have you. I think people still need to touch, see, and feel. That's just
So
me.
some of the virtual tours have been quite annoying. because
Yeah.
I feel like some of them are just pictures on a slideshow with music, and I'm like, that's not what I was expecting. Like, there's different companies that do different virtual tour services. I found those to be
Mm-hmm.
the most ineffective and annoying ones. The ones where it's like a video, oh gosh, like, must you film with everyone in the house? I don't want to see the people. It's just like, why they couldn't make the bed? Like, oh my gosh, like, what's wrong with you
Yeah.
guys, right? Those little things, and that's where it's like the professionalism comes to play. So I think most of the properties that I have been putting into contract, it's kind of flipped where before I was selling a lot more houses where people lived in them. Now I'm selling a lot more empty houses because also
Yeah.
personal preference. It's like if I don't have to bother with people, like I really don't like people being in the house with me and my clients because the way I show, I cater to what my clients want. And as far
Sure.
as I'm concerned, you're just in my way if you don't know what my client is going to be looking for in the house, right? Even with
Right.
the listing agents, like I love that you can say all this stuff. Tell me afterwards, right? Let me just point out a few things to them, and then you could like give me all the highlights and the rundowns. Even if I get there a few minutes early and you tell me, I could do it while I'm touring. So that would be like, oh,
Got
and then they told me this, that, the third. So I guess also like hampers on your style of selling, and some of the video tours actually are pretty okay. But then you go
it.
see them. I had one where we made an offer on it before we saw it, just based off the virtual tour, and they got to see it the day of the inspection.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I haven't done that yet. Everybody see the video and they still want to see the house. They're like, no, I'm not making an offer until I see the house.
See, but you know what it is like, and then I tell people I'm quite frank with people, and I don't care how you feel
Yeah.
about what I say. I tell you that like my initial consultation, I'm like I'm gonna tell you some things you may not like me afterwards, and I'm perfectly okay with that, right? But I'm telling you certain things up front because every situation is not going to be the same based on the house that you decide that you want to see, right? If someone is living in there, there's some sellers that's like they want somebody to come in one at a time. Some of them like, well, you could come in two at a time. Some of like your agents
Right.
can't come in. I just got contracts out today for a house. I haven't even seen the inside of the house like in person myself, and we were already
Wow.
done the inspection. The seller was like, we don't want any agents in. The buyer can come in two at a time, but because they have a baby, they had to go in one at a time because they didn't want the baby in the house, just to limit the risk. And I was in the car at another empty house on FaceTime watching
Wow.
the tour. But it's like whatever makes it work, I'm willing to sacrifice me seeing the
Sure.
house just to get you in so that you could be comfortable, and
Right.
whatever else it takes to get there.
Yeah. But is that that was New York or Pennsylvania?
This is New York. Oh,
Okay.
Pennsylvania was all the way shut down. Like there was no showing in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Like you
really?
were getting a virtual tour, if that much, and that was it. And Pennsylvania, like nobody has time for that.
Wow.
New York seems.
I mean, at least we were allowed to do vacant and then one-on-one, and we're still able to do it like one-on-one or
Mm-hmm.
vacant. Like a couple can come, right? A couple, but you know how some people, I want, auntie to come and uncle to come and this one to come.
Mm-mm. No,
Yeah,
I
they
tell
can't
them.
do it.
I tell them that from initial consultation, the
Mm-hmm.
most you can have at a time is two people, and it is
Right.
at the seller's discretion, the inspector's discretion, and the appraiser's discretion if they even let you into the property when they are
That's
there.
true.
So
That's
it's
true.
kind of like I just nip all that in the butt to let them know, like if that person is not on the loan, they're not getting in. Like just forget that they're there. You're gonna have to FaceTime them just like you're to FaceTime me if the seller said your agent can't come in,
Right.
and
Right.
that's what it is.
Right. And that's exactly what I do as well. Because I have to have a consultation with all my clients so that way they know what to expect
Yes.
for the transaction in general from beginning to end. In addition to the transaction, I also send them something in writing. I send them a pamphlet, a little booklet that tells them about the transaction. And now with COVID, we have to send a COVID release form to say that they are not, or have not been exposed within the last 14 days.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the only difference. But in terms of my consultation, that's what I do all the time. Just like this is what to expect, from beginning, from the time that we sit down and talk to its walk through time that I have that conversation with them, and then I also send them like a booklet so they can have it as a guide also.
Yeah.
And then during the whole transaction, I'm still reminding them as well.
Exactly. So let me ask you, right? With COVID, right? Let's do it before and
Mhm.
after. How long on
Okay.
average would it take your process to go from accepted offer to close before COVID, and how long does it take now after COVID?
So from acceptance, right,
Mm-hmm.
to closing, I have seen we have had like so initially we couldn't get home inspectors to go out. So
Yeah, you guys are
I
backed up there. Like the people I refer to, they're like, yeah, there's like a
right.
whole week and a half delay in
Right. It
getting a
was home
commitment.
inspectors. That was the thing. And then, so now I think it's more running like 45 days,
You said
whereas
how
it was
many?
like 45,
45.
maybe
Okay.
50 days, whereas it was just really like 30, 31, 32. And that's because, but I do see like actually within the last week that it is seeming to let up a little.
Okay.
Yeah, I do see that, and I hope that trend continues. And I think it will. I think it's people get comfortable as different businesses are reopening. I think it will, affect the way people are moving around and navigating, through transactions and through just life in general. But yeah, and then I think we'll have more home inspectors, right, available to us, because I know it was just one home inspector that we was really dealing with during this whole transaction.
Who's
I
your
mean,
go-to?
whole COVID. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Who's your go-to?
Well, my go-to was first home inspection. His name was Dia. However, when we called him, he was like, "Yeah, no." He was like, "No." So my second go-to, who's now my number one go-to, is Reliable,
Okay.
because he comes out, and I think you worked with him, right, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's really, really, good in terms of responsiveness, getting the inspection report to us like within a day. I think 24 hours, at the very most 48 hours. But I've been working with him for a very long time as well, probably about 9 to 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very good,
Yeah.
very good.
So for us, like, and here's where the time frame differs, right? Y'all that died dealing with New York time. I don't know why they're like this, but New York, your contract gives you 30 days to get a commitment, and then
Wow.
you get 30 days to get a commitment, and you'd probably be looking at that 45-day period for you to get to closing, right? Average transactions actually probably were taking like 3 months, 2 to 3 months to close
To
out
close?
from contract to close. Your
Wait. Back up. Is that before COVID? 3 months?
So like and that was
Oh,
like, yeah, because a lot of it, like what I realized was happening, um a lot of it was like title issues. Like there was so much sucky stuff going on. And because New York has like this crazy landlord tenant situation, if you were
okay.
buying a property that would like require people to move out, that would delay it even longer. Like I've had a property take me 2 years to close. Like it was just a year in dealing with the landlord tenant. Like I kid you not. So
No.
yeah, like landlord tenant court on these
No.
properties are not fun at all, and that's why I was
2 years are
like,
our short sales. I've done a 2 year closing, but it was like a short sale.
I've done a short sale in 30 days, but
I've done a short sale in 30 days too, but I'm saying when you said 2 years, that's only for like a short sale standard.
yeah,
But as far as regular transactions, private sale, no, that's like a 30-day transaction.
yeah,
And I gotta tell you, it depends on our bank. Like Terry Cooper with Loan Depot, he closes my loans in 28 days from the time that the contract is accepted to the closing date. 28 days.
that's
And
fast.
a lot of times the um, title may not be ready, or this one may not be ready, but he's ready to close in 28
Yeah,
days.
but that's what I'm
So,
saying. So the loan officers that I work with, it's
mhm,
not them on getting the commitment, because I've been able to get my commitments in like 2-3 weeks. It's
right.
always that like after the commitment, clearing
Oh, no.
conditions, clearing title stuff that takes up all the extra time.
No, we still close in 28 days, 28 to 30 days. And right now, like I said, I have a deal right now, but they are getting financing through Wells Fargo. The problem with that one is they had a backup, I guess, with their appraisers. And that's the only reason why we are not closed. That could have been closed
Really?
in 30 days.
The
Yeah.
one that I
Yeah.
referred you, their appraisal went out like when I was like, oh yeah, I heard that they were done with attorney review. He ordered that right away. It was done.
I don't know. Well, you know what? I don't know what really was the story, but this one, we had called him, we had emailed him,
And I guess it
and
depends
we
too when that deal
when
happened. Because
yeah.
in the beginning,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
there
could
were a
be.
lot of appraisers that weren't going out, and now they
Right.
are taking longer, even though they go out quickly to get the report back. Like where I
Right.
would have gotten appraisal back in like maybe three to 5 days, I've had to wait 2 weeks almost for appraisal
Oh
for
wow.
me. Yeah,
Yeah, but like you said, like I said, I think things are loosening up a little more now. So they are flying. So we'll go back eventually to lock out 30 days,
yeah,
45 days as we have. But no, I've never had a regular train. I mean, unless it was some extraordinary circumstances, we never
yeah.
closed like
I'm
three
sorry,
months.
I got a
That's,
few extra gray hairs out here from real estate. I sure did.
oh my gosh, no. Look, I got my corona hair going on, but not because of not closing. That's just because I haven't gotten to the salon. But other than that, no, that's just much too long
Yeah.
for us.
And that's
Yeah,
why it's
much
like
too
to
long.
do real estate full time, like you just have to constantly stack up the contracts, help as many people as possible. Because if you're relying on
Right.
a commission based business to be your source of income,
Absolutely.
when you know that your deals take this long, like when I first started real estate, my mentor told me, whatever you do today, just expect it to pay you out in 3 months. And I've
That's
always
true.
had that in mind. Like if I don't work today, 3 months from today, I'm gonna be broke. So
Right. Well, I always count on my pipeline. You know, I didn't really expect, honestly, I didn't expect people to move around as much as they did during COVID, and they did. I mean, the calls that I was getting, I guess because people are home
I'm gonna
and
say
they're
they're
looking
bored.
on,
They're like, I wish I could
right,
do
and
this,
they
so
were
let me dive
looking,
in.
yeah, exactly. So I think that's what it was. So I'm grateful for that because you and I both know that's going to pay off with us in the long, in the next 3 months, just like you said. But
Yeah,
yeah, it just seems like we never really stopped. I know me. I know I definitely didn't stop.
yeah,
In terms of still trying to educate, the community, educate the anyone that wants information because there was a lot of information going out with tenant landlords. So I know a lot of my landlords had called me because some of them had just got new tenants, and they were like, well, what are we going to do if they don't pay? And I'm like, well, you can't do anything right now, give them a
yeah,
chance. But it was some tenants that were really, really kind and they gave what they could give, which was good.
yeah.
But
I appreciate mine.
anyone, yeah, exactly. Anyone thinking about getting into real estate, they really should right now
Yeah.
or anytime because it really is something that is not going away. We all need a place to live,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And
And that was
go
why
ahead.
it tripped me up when they were like trying to classify what was essential and what was not. Or were you guys always essential workers from the beginning? Or was there like a period where you weren't?
Initially, they told us we were essential, and then they scaled it back and said that we weren't. And that's why I was able to show in between, like the couple that I was telling you, because we were still considered essential. Because that's what they said. People, Governor Murphy said people needed a place to stay, and then he shut it down. But it doesn't seem like he shut it down, unless I just ignored it. But it doesn't seem
Don't
like he
say
shut it
that.
down. I know. No, I don't think I did, but I'm just was thinking like as I look back in retrospect, it seemed like he didn't shut it down for so long. Like he
Mm,
may have shut it. It seemed as only if it was like a week or maybe a week and a half, and then they came out with strict guidelines on the way we were able to show.
yeah.
That's it, and that helped us a lot as well.
Yeah. So in New York, we were not essential when this whole thing started.
Right.
I believe it was March 22nd. They were like, the real estate brokerages have to shut down. Everyone has to work from home. and
Right.
they limited us so much in like what you can and can't do. Like if you needed to solicit extra business for yourself, you could only do it through people that you knew and mail marketing. And
Oh,
yeah, like you can't do any cold calling, you can't do any prospecting, anything like that. But fortunately, like my whole business has been built around referrals. So
right.
that extra time that I had from not being able to show, because you couldn't do any showings at all.
Right. Right.
It was like, you know what? Like, what can I do to still like engage and interact and inform people on the different things that's going on? So that's how I came up with this platform right here. So
Okay.
that way I could like build a network of realtors and still like reach people who needed help in a different kind of way. Um, but that only lasted a week, and then they changed it to where we are essential, and then they started adding pieces on what we can do and what we can't
Right.
do, and then changing that. And that's where the confusion came, because that's why now we have like all these different owners under different impressions, because there's always something changing, and they still have like that fear, like, oh, God forbid I catch this thing because somebody comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's when they came with us that we had to have a COVID release form.
Yes.
So, as for the office, and like you said, it just was very fluid because one moment it was this, and the next moment you could, and so it depended on. To me, it just seemed it depend on the week, and for good reason, because we had known so little about this virus, and and who has it, who doesn't have it. We just know that it was an airborne um, virus. And it's so funny because even now, like today, I was showing and I had my gloves on. This is so funny because I took my assistant with me and I had my gloves on and I had my mask on. I didn't have my shield on. So I touched the lockbox to open up and I had my gloves on and I was like, oh my God, my hands feel so horrible. And I was like, I got gloves on. So, and I keep now some Fantastic with bleach in my car. So I'm spraying my gloves and rubbing them together. And then before I even get in my car, because I told my assistant, she said, I didn't touch anything. I said, get my Fantastic. I sprayed my gloves, rubbed them together, then I changed my gloves. But and only because I only touched the lockbox. But now I'm just a little more hypersensitive or hyperconscious
Yeah.
about what I'm touching because it was actually one of those houses that was a total rehab, and it was some people out there before,
Yeah.
that I had to ask to please excuse me so we can show the house.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, got you.
So yeah. So my hands, it wasn't my hands, it was my gloves, but I felt like they were
They were your
nasty.
hands, gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I thought about that afterward because I think I'm going to continue using, even afterwards, using a mask because we go into a lot of different homes. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And
And you don't
everyone
know what to
doesn't live
expect. If you go into a basement that had
exactly.
mold and all that other stuff.
Exactly. So I think post COVID, I'm going to still wear a mask when I go into the homes because of that, especially right, and when we go into basements. In this house that I had to show today, I know was mold in there because been, um, it's been abandoned for about, what, 4 years, maybe
Mm-hmm.
5? Yeah. And, they had to board it up because squatters were going in there. So and rain and all kinds of stuff is coming in there. So there was no way I was going to go in there anyway. But
Yeah.
it just made me rethink how I move forward that I will be wearing a mask
Yeah.
when I go to different places now.
Yeah.
I probably do it all the time now.
I can imagine. I mean, we still have a lot to go through before we probably get back to like a normal. It's not gonna be the
Right.
normal from before, but you
Absolutely
know
not.
what? We'll see what happens. But thank you for co-hosting with me. Our hour is almost up,
Well,
and
thank
I'm trying to beat
you.
the I'm trying to beat the Instagram bully because they will just kick our asses off if we
Oh,
take too long.
let's get off. So, if any
Yeah.
of your viewers would like to talk more to me about, um, purchasing in New Jersey, you can follow me on Instagram or you can call me.
Yeah.
My Instagram is Keys to Transition, and that's KEYES, the number 2 transition. Or you can call me. My number is 732-900-0957.
All right. Well, thank you so
And
much.
thank you. And it's so wonderful working with you, of course, as
Always.
always.
Yes.
And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Later. Bye,
All
everybody.
right. Bye bye now.
So thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, DM me. You can contact Anya directly, whether it's related to buying in Jersey or any other state. Have a good night.